What's up, Underdawg Nation? It's your boy Eric Jones Jr. back with another episode of Underdawg Talk. Today we got the one and only Ryan Coleman in the house, owner of, how you say it, Omni. I said, just messed it up. Omni Fitness, a true leader in the wellness game. Ryan's all about the next level transformation, whether you're flying solo or leading a team. He's here to drop some serious knowledge on how to push past limits and succeed in every aspect of life. Ryan, welcome to the show, and can't wait to hear what you have for us today.
Yes, sir. What's going on, brother? I appreciate you for having me, man.
Not much, man. I appreciate you coming on. We've been supposed to have this episode months ago. We've both been busy, so I'm glad we here and, able to get it done. Before we get into the questions, I need a fun fact.
Fun fact. Man, I think a lot of people see me as like a super extroverted person that just like out here doing everything, but really I'm truly introverted at heart. It's like I love people, but I very much would prefer like being seclusion. 100%.
I would say I'm that way too, but I'm more. It'd be moments where I need to be around people. Not everybody, but just be around people. But I definitely can be in the house and chill and keep to myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to say my fun fact is I remember my mom's husband, it was when we were younger. He was like, if you lose a tooth and you put it in, I think it was Pepsi or Coke, it'll dissolve in the morning. And I did it, and it did.
What? Like it completely dissolved?
Yep. It was. I think it was Coke. Because if you really look at Pepsi is like something for like the motor of a car or something. I forgot how it like is connected, but Pepsi bad. Like if you listen, like I had a pop the other day. It was sitting there and it was just making noise. I'm like, what the? Like I don't know. That just be tweaking me out. Like I don't think I should be drinking that. Why is it making noise?
So it just broke it down.
Yep. And as a kid, I'm like, man, let me see. And I so happened to lose a tooth, and I remember him saying that, and I did it, and I was like, what the heck? It's gone in the morning.
I mean, that makes sense. How did he find that out? That's super random.
Old heads. He knows some stuff. But it'd be stuff like that I remember from someone telling me, and I just still, just remember stuff like that. But that really happened. And that'd be crazy because I have to think of a fun fact like every time.
Yeah. That's kind of hard to think of a fun fact. I'm like, what?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So you from Nap?
Yep, born and raised originally from the west side of Indianapolis, over by 38th and High School.
Okay.
And then we moved up north in 2004. The Fishers had a house built. So I grew up. I spent the majority of my time actually in the suburbs, like growing up in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, when you say Fishers, that's nice out there.
Yeah.
So how old are you?
29.
Okay.
29.
Because, man, it's like in our class, it'd be so many different people. I don't be knowing where I fit in, but then you can't tell how old somebody is. Because I just turned 38, so I think I look close to your age.
Yeah, I remember when you said that the other day, I was like, dang, I did not think bro was 38. But that's kind of, it's like you said, everybody's like a mixture. You got some folks that look young and they on their way to 40, and you got some folks that look old and they only in their 20s. So,
So I got a question, because everybody y'all hoop together.
Oh, yeah.
Who the top dog for real out of all y'all, like from the class that hoop? Ray, Murdoch, Shine, who the dog out of y'all, would you say?
Out of the class, man, I would say Murdoch, but I also very much want to give Ray his respects.
Yeah.
Because Ray can really hoop, and he's tall, he's long, he can score on contact, and he don't really be saying much. He just be out there doing his thing. But Murdoch, like he got that dog in him. And he definitely allows it to come out on the court for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely Paradise just sent me something. I think it's at the end of the month.
The King's Retreat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta see what my schedule look like. I need to check on that this week to see what my schedule look like. Because the last one y'all had in March, I couldn't attend because that's when we was in the state championship that weekend. So
yep.
I was like, because Murdoch sent it to me. I'm like, I just want to go see the other stuff, but I want to see what y'all talking about and show y'all just a little bit what I got. I got a little splash.
Yeah, you got some game on you?
Yeah, I do, but I'm a little older, so like the knees don't work all the time like I want them to. Like I shoot, so I stick to shooting. Like I got more than shooting to my game if I need to, but my body don't always allow me to.
Right.
The coaches played 21, a couple of us, and a couple of the older kids, and I won both games. It's like, oh yeah, he really can. It's bruh. I'm just gonna say it's a side of the court. If you let me shoot on there, that's your fault.
Hand down, man down.
Yeah, it's one side. I can shoot anywhere, but it's one side of the court that is. I'm dang near 80%. Like I don't really, and I just realized I was like, oh, this is where I need to shoot. This where
you got a spot, like a certain spot.
Yeah, it's a certain spot on the wing. Cause I had a driveway, but it was a half driveway, wasn't a full one, and so where my court was. All I had was a side to really shoot on. So I didn't realize as time went on, that side of the court, I don't miss is because that's where I had to shoot at the crib. So I just know how. And that's the way that I shoot too. I think the way, cause I kind of like swing it. So it kind of go that way. Yeah. And it splashed. That corner three, oh yeah, I'm all day.
It's over.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's over. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you definitely got to pull up, man.
Yeah, but y'all work out and y'all strong and stuff. So I know I'm like, man, on defense, y'all just gonna post me up because I mean I ain't no punk under there, but if you big and strong, I ain't really trying to fight with you no more. I'm like, hey, you got it. But the competitor in me, it always overweigh the age in me.
Right.
I would say the age of my knees, not the age like nowhere else. Yeah.
Right. Just gotta get them knees together.
Yeah. So tell us the story of how, why, and when you formed your business.
Man, I guess for starters, why? So I mean it kind of stemmed from my own personal journey. Dating way back to high school, like I was always an athlete. I was always active. But I also was a natural leader that didn't want to take on that responsibility. So I found myself very much, following others, getting into stuff that I should not have been getting into. So a lot of people, kind of counted me out, and fair enough. So, I don't play victim in regards to it. It was a certain way I was showing up, and it just wasn't in alignment with where I was trying to go. But ultimately, that led to me, going to play a little bit of football in college. I went to Olivet, and man, I went from a high school where I would have anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 people at a high school game to Olivet where there was maybe like 50 people in the stands. So mentally that just kind of like, that was off-putting for me. So I ended up coming home, I had a girl back at the time, my ex of 7 years. And I just didn't have a purpose. I feel like I didn't have no passion. I didn't know where I was going. I was just kind of just in this all-time low of life. So ultimately ended up joining the military. And that's where I kind of was able to develop the structure, the discipline, all the principalities like I need in order to be what I wanted to. Got back into fitness again, heavy, through the military. And then became a master fitness trainer. So I would train my unit up to like 60 people. Actually was helping like PT test failures, like pass their test and all of that. And I got an Army Achievement Medal for that. So that was rewarding, just being able to see the impact that it had on those individuals, and something that started off with just fitness going well beyond that, just changing their whole persona, like their whole demeanor. So it really became a passion of mine. And it started off like my original. It was Transform Fitness. That was my original. But then it just didn't really sit with me. Then eventually shifted over my personal name to Ryan Fit. A lot of people, I guess a fun fact that would be that a lot of people don't know Ryan Fit came from J. Cole. So I'm a huge J. Cole fan.
Okay, me too.
That's like my number one for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, going back to it. So Ryan Fit, that kind of became like my personal brand. And then I was working full time as an intel analyst for the military, top of 2020, and pretty much found out that we're getting laid off. Now the whole time I was working, pretty much building my business, like the ideas, what I want to do, kind of the name and stuff like that. But God kind of just put me out there. Like it was like, it wasn't on my time. It was on, his time 100%. So I was like, all right, well, being laid off, let me just hop into my journey as a, entrepreneur. I ended up finding a place out on the west side. I was subleased there for a little bit. Things didn't end up, working out. And I had a 2-week turnaround where I pretty much had to find a new facility. Just so happened that I was in touch with the people already. But that was probably one of the craziest moments in my life because I didn't even know that I had it in me to do something like that, to manifest something into reality like that quick. But man, with the help of the community, I really got to see like, the power of the community that I had, different donations, angel investors, stuff like that. Was able to get it up and going. So I had my first spot, Ryan Fit, but ultimately the long-term vision was Omni Fitness, because Omni is essentially means all things, and most importantly, it's God as well. And I definitely want to incorporate that within my business. And I didn't want it to be my name. I wanted it to be we rather than me. So that's when I started bringing on my team and stuff like that. We found a little bit bigger of a facility, got in there, and that's pretty much how we got to where we are now. It all stemmed from a personal journey and ultimately wanted to get to the place where I could, provide that same type of impact to others in terms of their wellness. So, hopefully I can get them to a place where they're optimizing their self, like I was. So
I love that. I love that answer. I do want to know though, was you like that in football?
Yeah. Yes. So man, there's this funny story. When I was in college, so I went to Fishers High School. We won the state championship in 2010 against Lawrence Central. And I was a sophomore then and had like 2 sacks out there. But we were a very like technically sound team. Like up in Fishers, we weren't like big. We were just fast. We were skilled. We were well coached. Yeah. So when I went to college, man, I was killing them. I was a defensive end. So I was killing them with the spin move. Yeah. Literally couldn't stop it. And I would go into the film room, man, and these dudes literally, they would like, oh man, God's here. Like they started calling me God. Like it was, this is something that I can't make up. It was the craziest thing ever. And I was getting so much high praise, even from like coaching and stuff like that. But what messed me up is I felt like I should have been at a bigger school, and I should have. Yeah. But going into my junior year, right after the state championship, I got busted with alcohol. We had stole the alcohol too. So, being black up in Fishers, getting caught with alcohol, Yeah. So I threw away half my junior year. I had just went on a visit to the University of Cincinnati, never heard back from them. They very much just kind of, I was a great athlete, but they looked at me like a liability from a mental standpoint, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes athletes don't realize some of the dumb stuff that it's not really dumb in our environment. It's stuff that's normal, but when we do it, it'll mess up going somewhere, being seen, or having an opportunity, or being able to just network. And that's what I think a lot of us are at the age where we can help the young people realize you don't gotta really do the dumb stuff that your friends are doing if you want to go somewhere great. Because that one little mistake, it's like somebody going to jail, they 30 seconds or less, and now they got 5, maybe 25 or life just off a stupid mistake. So we don't realize how big those mistakes are, but every mistake is needed for, your journey down the road. So it might not have been meant for you to play football because of what you're doing now, because you might just be playing football and just be an athlete and not helping the community, or, giving back, or showing young people like, you don't got to do this type of stuff. You can work out. You can make money off this. You can build a business and also help people. Because I think health is more important than it's ever been, like now. Like how the way we eat, the way that you work out, all those different things. Because I be thinking back, like, how did we make it as kids?
Yeah.
Like, I was talking on that pod. I was like, we was drinking Kool-Aid and my grandparents had pop. Like, when was we drinking water? Nobody was like, hey, you need to drink this amount of water. And we was outside, like, playing and all that. Like, how was we not dehydrated?
Right after football practice, like I would go home after football practice and drink a big ass glass of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
When I should have been drinking some electrolytes or something like that, man.
And we just was going.
Yeah.
And like eating bad. Oh, we was eating all the fried foods. Every Friday, Thanksgiving come, you go over Big Mama house, Sunday dinner. Like, we eating all bad. And now it's like, nope, we was eating wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems. Like, a lot of people talk about, the COVID pandemic, all this and that. I'm like, look, we got a health and wellness pandemic here. People are normalizing eating fast food, eating these foods that are chemically enhanced and chemically throwing off an imbalance in the brains of our youth, and our kids. And we wonder, and why they act the way they do. And then we try to throw these labels on them. They have ADD, they have all this and that. And it's like, no, literally it's the foods that we are allowing them to consume that is literally, transforming their brain chemistry to be like that. Because kids are naturally creative, they're not, they have a innate intelligence that they naturally are born with. And through, different things like food, and what's in them, just the hazardous chemicals, man, it really kind of starts to destroy their brain, and it's kind of sad, honestly.
I see it. I work in school, so like just sitting here thinking like, man, Buddy must really eat like bad, or I'm just not saying that he eat just horrible, but I understand it. And then as a parent, it's like, shit, I need to start. I try not to go to fast food, but I definitely need to eat better myself. But especially the kids, like, they mom, she eat healthy, she do all that. My son, like me, I ain't really trying to eat that, but it's like, that's part of being healthy though. Even though we're skinny, we not getting fat, none of that, but it's about what we're putting inside, like drinking the water, eating the fruits and vegetables. Just little stuff can help. You ain't gotta, shut down everything, turn into a vegan, but if you add some stuff. So that's one thing that I want to work on, because I'm getting closer to 40, and I don't want to be one of them 40-year-olds that's, I'm 40 and I'm old.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm still young, because my son definitely he 10. He got about another 5 to 7 years for he think about beat me, and I got to make sure I'm able to keep up with him, because these kids different.
Yeah.
Hey, are they eating something different? Like, what's going on with, like, how are these kids? Like, I get, you see the genetics, but these kids is like way bigger than we were as kids. Is it something different, or is it just how the
it's
cookie
just
crumble?
evolution? It's as simple as that, and it's like, every time, like, there's always a level where we think like, oh wow, it's never going to get past that, and now it just keeps getting better and better. And the things that these kids have, the accessibility to, And the food obviously plays a role in it.
Yeah.
If they're eating all this, steroided up chicken and stuff like that too, it's naturally gonna make them get bigger. And then they're getting tossed in to weights early and stuff like that, so their bodies are adapting. Like you'll see a lot of these high schoolers, like these are some big kids, and they lifting crazy weight.
I know. When I walk down the hall, I'm like, man, I look like one of the students.
Yeah.
I don't even it's crazy because I think about dads. Like back in the day, they was kind of like tall, strong. I'm like, man, I'm a dad. But I ain't tall. I got the voice, the little deep voice or whatever. But it's like, man, it's crazy how the size of the children are. Like it's some elementary kids. Man, why are you so big?
Yeah.
There's a kid on my team that's 9.
Yep.
Big as hell. Me and him wear the same size shoe.
Yeah.
He 9. It's like, what in the world is these kids on? I don't know.
I mean, a prime example that we see it in is all professional sports.
Yep.
Even the NBA, for example, this a whole generation of youth that's taking over right now. And we're seeing the difference in, them, their abilities, them being able to do things that, we once didn't see certain positions doing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's taking the game to the next level.
Yeah, it really is. Like just being a coach and seeing kids that are 9, 10, maybe a little younger and older, like right before middle school, and like what these little jokers. I seen the number 2 dude for the class of 2032. This little nigga was doing grown man moves. Like if you're a teen, they're young. They play basketball. They know how to play defense. But even grown people don't know how to stop that. You doing Euro. You doing layups with the same leg. Like, there's some grown dudes that hoop. They can't do that.
He was putting in some work outside of there, for sure.
And that's the thing. Like, these kids don't even realize what they have. Or we would have had this kind of ability to get the training or just to be able to play on AAU. I'm from Michigan City, so it's a small town. We weren't playing AAU, we was playing Pee Wee.
Yeah.
And then me and my bro was talking about it. If you scored 12, you couldn't score no more.
Right.
Like, so these kids, y'all get to go across the country. Y'all playing teams. Y'all getting the jerseys, the swag, all this. And then now y'all on social media, and now people all over the world know who you are. If you hoop, you might only be known at your playground.
Yeah.
Y'all known all over the world. Yeah. And it's like they don't get that they don't understand like you were saying with like putting work in. If you don't put that work in, you're not gonna get to where you want to.
Right.
And it's like y'all got all the access to all the resources.
And that's, one thing about it, even like back when I was a kid, I had the accessibility to a lot of things that I just didn't even pay attention to, or I didn't take advantage of the way that I should have. I definitely was like, even the simple things is like showing up to after school weights, putting in the extra efforts. Like anybody that that was putting in the extra effort, those are those individuals that, were having that high level success in, those athletics. And, I feel like there's a lot of kids who are talented, but, they're just focused on the wrong things. They want to grow up too fast, and, they think that they're missing out on stuff. But man, if I could do it all again, like I'm out the way. The best thing to do is stay out the way. Go ahead and get your grades, do what you got to do, and put in the work. Play later, because it definitely would have compound up for sure.
Like even take away sports, just the resources in college, like the networking. When I was in college, if I could go back to college, I would do it. I probably would still did grade wise. I wouldn't have done nothing because I didn't like school. Mm-hmm. But just networking with people and getting in rooms or being around people that know about money and stuff like that. You being from around the way and you just want to go have fun. You ain't seeing that, man, your roommate, he knows somebody that works at a big corporate company in Forbes or something, and he could connect you. You can get a job. You could be an intern. You don't even know what some of these terms are because you ain't learning. You just going to have fun and just missing out on opportunities because You want to be cool.
Right.
Like you said, you stay out the way, you go do what you need to, and put yourself in a room of people that's doing what you're doing. That's how you succeed. You ain't got to be out there and partying all the time and knowing what's going on and following the trends. If you just do you, like, that's what's going to work for you. Like with you did you. You like, okay, I've been training people. I've been doing this. Let me start my own thing. Because a lot of times people go to a gym. Oh, I'm going to be a trainer at a gym. And you probably don't make that much. But being your own trainer and having people, now you can make whatever you want. You got your own schedule and all those different things. So what are 3 key observance that you've made about being an entrepreneur transitioning from a side hustler to a full entrepreneur?
What's some of the observations I made? Man, most definitely, I think that, a lot of people have this mindset that they can kind of just hop right into it. Like it's that easy. Yeah. Man, realistically, like entrepreneurship is some of the hardest shit I've done in my life. It's nothing but uncertainty. You gotta, if you ain't doing what you supposed to do, you ain't gonna eat, so it's completely relying on you. You gotta be structured, you gotta be disciplined. And it's a consistent cycle of adversity and resilience. Yep. I honestly wish I could have better prepared, but also I'm kind of glad I was thrown out there in the fire because it ultimately made me better and it turned me to who I am. But, I would definitely take the time to actually, make sure that you're putting the money in right places, make sure that you're having, emergency funds, all the things that you can do to kind of alleviate any liabilities before hopping into entrepreneurship. For sure. But something else that I noticed, man, is just kind of being around a lot of entrepreneurs. Like a common denominator between, us is the simple fact that we take so much time to put in the work within self. Mm-hmm. And we consistently want to show up in the world as a version of our best self. So it makes entrepreneurship easy because we are always just kind of have this natural drive to continue to get better, in all areas of life. So it just kind of comes in a natural flow with that. It's just like the ultimate practice of self-love. And if you don't love yourself, it's definitely hard to, put your heart into something truly like that, whether that's a person, place, or thing. And then also, just the power of community, man, the power of just having people that you can lean on to your right and to your left. Like, man, it's such a blessing just to be able to experience that and be able to build with other people like-mindedness who, may have different, goals in life, but ultimately, the mission is the same. Yep. So that's one thing that I've really learned to grow to love, and that really is one of the biggest aspects of my business is community. It's an important pillar for sure. Yep.
Community is so important because for someone like myself that's like a people person but kind of an introvert when it comes to like just being to working and doing stuff, because I do mostly everything on my own, but then like going to class and hearing somebody else dealing with the same exact thing, so it's like, whew, shit. Yep. Good. Like, it's out there, but to actually hear somebody say it, and then it's like, all right, how can we help each other? Or you got somebody, oh, hey, I've been through that. Look, this how I did, and then is really just following the plan. Like when you're around entrepreneurs, like, and actually listening to somebody and they giving you game, like if you actually do it, it'll help. Like sometimes I know I've been in communities before and it was just me just being hype. Oh, I know this person, I'm getting this information, I'm on these calls, but I wasn't doing nothing with the information. Now it's like, okay, I got the information. Let me not flood myself with a bunch of information, but like watching the old videos, I go to videos that pertain to what's going on now.
Right.
So I can implement something or ask questions. That's why I always learn, never a dumb question is a question not asked.
Right.
So you always got to ask, but just having that community and people that's been where you've been or going through what you're going through, and you able to ask questions and get answers. And it's not always about, oh, hey, can I hold a couple dollars? It's like, hey, go talk to this person, tell them da 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 da, and what, and then now you got a source of income or whatever. And then the self love, that's whew. Man, if you don't love yourself, you're not gonna be able to do nothing.
No.
Cause life gonna tell you you're ugly. Life gonna tell you you're fat, you're stupid, this and that, and you're gonna believe it. And everybody goes through a moment where they might listen to what the world say, but when you love yourself, you're like, oh, man, shut that shit up. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's how you push on. And or you can look in the mirror and say, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. I'm the shit. I'm him. I'm her. Yeah. Like, why am I playing around? Yeah. And if that's how you know you love yourself, because if you don't love it, you're going to just go through the motion. Life going to beat you up. You're going to be sitting there, oh, well, it's their fault. It's my job. Oh, it's them. No, hey, guess what? It's all on you.
Yep.
It's the choices we make.
Yeah.
You know, those are two important things, because once you love yourself, you're able to love other people. Because when you join community, most likely it's going to be strangers.
Right.
It's not going to be your homies. It's not going to be your fam. It's going to be people that think like you, that live somewhere else. It ain't going to be the people that lived on your street. It's going to be the people around the corner that was able to, that went to Fishers and was able to see life a little different. Be like, oh, I didn't know that was out there.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that because they stuck in wherever they live and stuck in that community. You got to get out of that community. If you don't get out of the community, you ain't won. You ain't won in the community that you loyal to. You loyal to losing. You need to be loyal to winning. I think a lot of times people be so loyal to day ones and friends and all that, but have you won with them?
Right.
And like, okay, you got a little wins there, but like, are you winning in life? And sometimes it's hard. People be thinking I'm harsh. I'm like, no, I've been losing if I've been with y'all, because I ain't won nothing yet.
Right.
If I won it, if we winning, then we wouldn't be in a position. We wouldn't have the conversations. So I like that.
And the exposure, I think that exposure piece is so important.
Yep.
Because, that very much was a lot of my life, and being able to be around folks who, have money, that come from different cultural backgrounds and stuff like that. I was able to be opened up to a whole different level of life.
Yep.
They showed me what I could have, and it was very much relatable to the conversation we had with Murdoch the other day. We just got to get the key to the door, and when we get the key to the door, we got to turn on the lights up in there.
Yep.
But we very much belong there, and we very much can get there, but you got to step outside of your bubble. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to put yourself in places that are going to stretch you out, make you uncomfortable, but ultimately put you in a situation to truly cultivate growth. Because, man, there's so much to this world. There's so much more than just Indiana, and we really gotta think on so much more of a larger scale, because we think very micro when there's billions of people in this world. That's very much macro. So exposure, man. I would say that's probably one of the most important things, whether that was through the military, growing up in the burbs, whatever the case may be. It was all open my eyes to a different reality.
That's so true. Even though my mom wasn't able to provide everything, she put us in situations to get exposure. When I look back on life, like just like having cousins that lived in the suburbs, like just going out there and hanging out with them and seeing what that looked like, to be like, I want to kind of, I want a house like this. And rather than having nothing wrong with the house we grew up, but it was small. And when I finally got a house, it was bigger than the house I grew up in. It was like, okay, I'm doing something. Like those little things right there from just the exposure. And when you're able to obtain it, it's like, okay, yep, I got this little thing. Now I can get something else. Or just going, I worked at Cedar Point. That was a whole different experience working with people from all over the world.
Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah. Like it was different, and I was 19 years old, so I was fresh out of freshman year. So it's like I ain't even really grown and living in a whole nother state, but it was fun, and I learned how to become a man, because like I ain't like, oh, hey mom, can you? She hours away, ain't too much she could do. By the time she come, whatever happened then been over with. So it was like that type of exposure of doing different stuff. It lets you know that you're capable of doing it, because you see somebody else, or like you said, it's 1 billion people. It's funny because kids at school be like, oh, I don't like you. I don't care. I don't like you either. Right. You ain't gotta like me. Or they be like, well, she said she didn't like me. It's okay. Somebody else gonna say they don't like you. Like, it's enough people in the world that you're gonna attract. Right. And people don't get that. They think it's like, oh, let's attract just the Indiana. Let's be the pop in there and nap. That's cute. That's cool. But you can make way more money and have way more access to different things if you stepped outside of Indianapolis. And that's where people's goals should be, to no matter where you live, you should want to step outside of where you grew up and where you live, so you can be able to impact the world. You can't impact the world if you only stand in your community. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's a fact.
So, the following components: exposure, education, and equipment. Which one has the greatest positive impact on the entrepreneur's journey from your perspective?
It was exposure, education, and equipment. Oh man. Honestly, I would root that back to exposure. And I say that because with exposure comes experience, and experience is the greatest teacher in life. And I've known so many people who've had, the highest level of education, whether that's secondary, whatever the case may be, masters. But like you can have all the intelligence in the world and not know how to put that in practical use. And I think that's a lot of people. But a thing with the experience is, you have to fail. With experience, you have to go through trial and error. You gotta fall on your head and get back up. And it kind of teaches you lessons that, education can't necessarily teach solely by itself, which education and equipment are also important within that. But like for this step one, if there was one thing that was going to kind of accelerate a entrepreneur, I would definitely say exposure would be it for sure.
Yeah, because it's like we talk about in class, common sense.
Yeah,
like you can have all the book smarts and all that, but if you put in a different environment, are you going to be able to read your way out of it?
Right.
No, you're going to have to figure it out by going out there and just trial and error and falling on your face and different things like that. I think that's how a lot of people, I've always been one, like, if you got common sense, you can make it in the world if you got little education. But if you got a lot of education and no common sense, it's going to be hard for you to really make it, because you don't know how to face adversity. You can't read on adversity. I mean, you can look up the word, but it ain't going to be like, well, this is step one of adversity, because you don't know what adversity looks like for you. So it's like you got to have some type of common sense. And the way Murdoch broke it down, it's like life is really common sense. Like, the stuff that you're supposed to be doing in life, why you not doing it?
Right.
It don't take a book to tell you, hey, if you want to have your own business, if you want to run stuff, you need to wake up a little earlier.
Right.
It ain't, it's simple stuff, and people make things a lot harder, or those people that have the education, they look down upon people that don't.
Right.
Especially like me in the education world, I don't got a degree, I don't got the license. People are like, oh, what are you doing in education? Trust me, I can do a lot better than you, because I can relate to the kids. You just in here trying to teach kids off the degree you got, and none of these kids live where you live. You don't know nothing about how to talk to the kids, but you're trying to teach the kids.
Right.
And it's like,
and connection at that age is so important, because if they're able to see themselves within you, they're definitely a lot more receptive. And that's something that I've experienced within schools that I've gone and done some work in, is You know, a lot of these teachers won't even have control over the room, and they don't have control over the room because these kids don't respect them. And these kids don't respect them because of the sole fact that those teachers don't have no idea of what's going on, you know, within their reality. And they just are so quick to kind of, you know, make these assumptions that you exist within their reality, and then it's kind of, you know, there's a whole lot of reality check moments for those individuals.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, it honestly is sad, and I don't ever think that you need any type of, you know, high level teaching is something that anybody can do. You know, it's just it comes from a form of leadership, you know, and each and every single one of us has the ability to be a teacher. So like the fact that somebody looks down on somebody because of a label, it's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, it be like that. But like you said, anybody can teach, because you can teach. Everybody has a purpose, and whatever your purpose is, you're going to teach somebody else how to do it. So it just depends on the subject. And I think a lot of the subjects that are in school are pointless, because none of these are going to help the kids when they actually become adults. Like actually having life skills, or actually having like health fitness class, like not just health like I had. I don't even think they have health. I think they just have gym. But actually having somebody in there to teach kids, because you have a lot of obesity now because all they do is sit on the game. They in the house. It's the world we live in, and just those different, like teaching about money and credit and different things. We had those in the schools rather than some of these classes that if you're not about to be in chemistry or nothing with that, why do you need science?
And that's another thing, honestly, going back to exposure, because like schools like, even for me, when I was in school, you know, I was able to take classes like entrepreneurship. You know, that's something that you ain't gonna find at an IPS school. You know, you ain't gonna find that in the inner city, or, you know, just how a lot of those schools up north are kind of set up now, where they kind of give these kids more like, they're like college preps, like these high school county schools are like very much like prep schools. And then there's a school, university high school, that I've done some work in, man, and their curriculum, like with them being a private school, it's next level. And the things that these kids learning, the way that these kids interact, speak, even some of the homeschool kids, a lot of these homeschool kids are some of the smartest kids I know, because of the people who are teaching them and what they're actually learning. So even when it comes to the education system, you know, it's like it's sad, but there are certain levels of exposure that, you know, a lot of our people just don't get access to, you know, and that starts with a lot of my people would say that, you know, oh, like, why do you talk like that? Like, why you talk so proper? Why do you do all this and that? But like, that's because they haven't had the exposure to know the importance of articulating yourself and being able to speak like you have some sense, you know, and then use like words that are simple, that are more complex than the surface level. So man, that's because growing up, that was you talking white.
And I remember I used to joke on my sister because she used to talk that way. And then just now being, like you said, to be in rooms in different places where you gotta be able to articulate yourself. Like you can still talk the way however you talk, but you got to use certain words and make it make sense and be able to actually know what you're talking about. Like, because a lot of times we know a lot of people from even in our families that know how to bullshit, like just be slick talk. You can slick talk, but then they gonna want to see results. So you can go in there and da-da-da-da, because you can get your way in the door, but what you gonna do when you're in the room? You gonna turn the lights on? You gonna furnish it? You gonna get the equipment you need? You gonna do all that stuff? If you just can't be a talker, but you got to know how to talk when you're somewhere. And I've learned that. I wish I could record all my interviews that I've taken after I learned how to talk better, because I'd be in there talking and I'd be like, damn, that was a really good fucking answer there. And I'd be like, man, and I'd be proud of myself that I'm able to, because I'm not a big reader, but conversation with different people and listening and figuring out when somebody uses a big word, they gonna explain what the word mean if you listen to what they saying, just little stuff like that. And you get that just from being around people that have that conversation, or being around people that's in the mastermind that are professors and lawyers and different stuff that look like me, and be like, oh, I can talk like that. But oh, I can go turn on some trap music. Oh, I can go hang out from around the way. But I also can go to these meetings and know how to talk to people to get hundreds, thousands of dollars and millions of dollars and stuff of that sort. And it's like, it's obtainable, but it's exposure. I think that's what we go back to. So, what are like, just give me like one or two goals for your business, breaking barriers, building connections, or bridging gaps in the entrepreneurial community?
Man, so one of my biggest things that, you know, we're looking to really do is create this one-stop shop, this concept of this one-stop shop. Mm-hmm. So when somebody walks in through the door of Omni Fitness, anything in the wellness spectrum, they have accessibility to in-house. They don't have to go out-house. They don't have to go to any other location. It's all within this one centralized hub. You know, and that's both in person and also like an online community via app, stuff like that. So that definitely is probably my biggest goal, and something that we're continuing to work to, especially specifically for an underserved community within, you know, a lot of African Americans. You know, we're the ones that are experiencing a lot of these health issues that, you know, are so-called normalized, you know, rather that simple thing like arthritis. I hear people say, oh, you gonna get arthritis anyway, don't worry. It's like, no, there's nothing normal about being in pain. And we got to have this mindset shift that there's nothing normal about being in pain. There's nothing normal about needing to take all these medications that are going to lead to liver failure eventually. There's no, you know, we got to make it make sense with the food that we're putting in our body, and that soul food is not really good for our spirit, you know. And it's, you know, moderation. Everything is good in moderation, but like, we have to understand that in order to, you know, to see change, we have to be that change. And ultimately it starts with, you know, our physical health. So breaking barriers within that African American community specifically is something that I'm extremely passionate about. And then also being able to assist the youth, you know, who grew up like I did, and being, you know, a black kid in a PWI, predominantly white institution, and the struggles that we had to go through, you know, and not being able to have those, you know, those wellness resources and things that would have helped us with coping mechanisms and stuff like that. Because, you know, a lot of people talk about the struggles that, you know, kids go through in the inner city, and I'm never taking that away because I know I was there, you know. But like, there's a whole different struggle that them little, you know, black and brown boys and girls go through up in them suburbs, you know, and they need people who look like us to be able to help them with being able to maximize their well-being as well. So that's also something that I've definitely become passionate about as well. So the youth are the future.
Yeah,
so
I love that, because I was going to ask you if you were doing, because I was thinking like with the youth like that we have, and like where we're trying to go, we want to eventually have like our own academy, but we also want to have like a building where we have like a training facility, and they working on their skills and getting healthier and stuff of that sort. So I definitely was going to ask that question, because like you said, the youth is our future, and if we can show them that eating these foods, or just working out, just showing them like at a young age, because I didn't realize how important working out was. If I would have did better in my 20s. So in my 30s, I wouldn't have, like you said, it's like in our community, it's like, oh, well, when you get 30, you're going to start, your body it's going to
start breaking down. And it's like, that's actually the exact opposite. Like if we do it the right way, we literally get better as we get older.
Because some people, they look better as they get older.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you weren't looking like that back in the, okay. Like,
It's a real thing.
It is. And that's very true. Cause I remember my cousin was like, man, prepare yourself in your 20s for when you get in your 30s. Cause like your body changes, not saying that you're not going to get some pain, but your body changes. You don't, you got to get a little more rest. You can't hang out like you used to, stuff of that sort. But it's like, if you prepare yourself, if you start early on just working out and eating a little different, it'll help you in the long run. And I don't work out, but I walk all the time. And I realize that walking is what really helps me, because I'm working at a school and I'm one person, I can't sit in one area. Like, I can't just sit in my office all day. I can't just sit in the classroom. I got to be moving. So that walking is like my exercise. And I didn't realize, I'm like, how do I kind of stay fit? And I don't never hit the gym, but it's just walking, and people don't realize how important walking is. Yeah, just getting up and just moving your feet.
The simple act of movement. Movement is medicine itself. No matter that, I mean, it comes in 1,000 different shapes and forms. But as long as you're getting active in some way, you know, the pain is inevitable. You know, we're all going to go through pain. We're going to have to work through pain. And, you know, that's something that, you know, you can figure out different ways in order to be able to cope with and actually grow from. But the suffering, that is definitely, you know, optional. We don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
We don't have to, you know, go and get, you know, all these surgeries and stuff like that. You know, everything can be done in the most holistic way, but it takes work. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
So that's why we have a health and wellness pandemic going on in this country, is because we have a bunch of, you know, lazy people who, you know, want instant gratification, and they don't have the patience in order to be able to wait to get to the results that come with consistency over time.
Yeah.
And
so question, you got to put in the work. Is BBL abs, that's real?
Yeah.
Like, there's people.
I mean, like, I don't necessarily know. I don't know how the process works, but they pretty much got something for everything. I mean, they got like these little Insta shots that people can take, man, and they just like they take them a couple like in spurts, and it's crazy. But they found 1,000 different ways, 1,000,000 different ways for people to cut corners.
Yeah, that's I'm like, what?
It's still not ever gonna be fulfilling.
No, it's
because
not.
you can get yourself to look however you think that you ideally want to look. But when you look deep down inside and know that you didn't put in the work there and you had a cheat code, you're gonna create a void, a big old traumatic void that's gonna sit with you rent free in the back of your mind the rest of your life.
Yep, that's I don't know. Okay, that's just wild that people do that.
Man.
Let's see where we want to go. Let me ask one more cool question, and then I got my last questions. Okay. You host a podcast that empower, like, that has principles and stuff. Why is it so important, not just with the podcast, but with you have a podcast and you have a business? Why is it so important to build the platform, your own platform?
I feel like one of the most powerful things that we have as human beings is our voice. You know, and we all have a story to tell, and most definitely shout out Murdoch, because, you know, he helped me to realize the power that I had within my own story. But we all have the unique ability to be able to deliver and articulate, you know, a message to a certain community, in our own unique way.
Yep.
And not just, you know, everybody is the one person that might work for one person isn't going to work for the next, you know. So people are always looking for individuals that they can truly connect with, communities that they can connect with. And, you know, that stems from the ability to be able to, you know, put those thought-provoking ideas out there, you know. And I one thing about me and my former leadership, I don't ever want people to agree with me like 100%. I want people to challenge me. I want people to question me. Like, ultimately what I'm trying to do is get people thinking. And if I get people thinking, then I'm doing something right, because, you know, critical thinking is one of the the most underutilized components that we have, man. And when we actually sit down and, actually, get the pen and paper out and, write down those ideas and actually, speak on those things and concepts in which we're passionate and truly believe in, beautiful things come out. It's like God is taking over, A lot of the times where I'm recording these podcasts or I'm speaking, I don't even really be knowing what I'm saying because a lot of it feels like an out of body experience. It's like you said, you go back, you listen to yourself and you're like, wow, like I just really dropped a bar.
Yeah.
But it very much is like, God kind of takes over and he's gonna, make sure that the people are gonna hear what they need to hear. And we're just simply those vehicles that are here to deliver that message, man. So I just think that it's always so important for us all, especially as African Americans, man, in this society, to truly have a platform to be able to showcase ourselves, our abilities, who we are, what we do, and how we got there, most importantly.
Yep, I love that because I've always had a voice. I ain't really gonna be quiet for too many people, but getting older and realizing how to use my voice was very important. And like you said, it's certain people for everybody. Like, I think sometimes when you start stuff, you see people on social media already doing it, or you're like, oh, they're successful, but you don't realize it took them years to get there. So it's like, it's going to take you years to get there, but don't be scared if you want to be a motivational speaker or have a podcast or be a life coach and be like, oh, well, there's hundreds of them. They not you.
Right.
God only made one you.
Right.
And like you said, like when I be on the podcast, like I probably, if I went back, I didn't drop so many gems and bars just off a conversation and not really realizing like, well, you really can talk. You really know what you're talking about. Like when people tell me I'm intelligent, I'd be like, what? Man, I like, cause education as a kid and in college wasn't my thing. And even as an adult, I don't like to read, but I still figure out how to learn. So just being able to have a voice and being able to use that voice in the proper way, because everybody got a voice, but it's how you use your voice. Because just because you cut somebody out don't mean you're using your voice properly.
Right.
So it's all about how you use it and just realizing there's people out there for you.
Right.
So give 3 tips for health wellness, like that people can do that, something that can help them change. They not a healthy person. They don't really eat. They eat whatever. They go to the gym every 2 weeks. What are some tips that could help them change how they feeling? Because I know when you change a little bit in your body, it helps you with your sleep. It helps you with your day. So what are like 3 tips that they can do to help them be a little healthier?
Yeah. So first and foremost, and this is most baseline thing that you can do, is get in a consistent routine of some kind of movement, some way, shape, or form, no matter what that may look like. That can be walking, that could be going to the gym, that can be going and doing yoga, Pilates, whatever the case may be. But as long as I feel like, like for me, I strength train 3 days a week. I run, I cycle, I play basketball. I have a whole structured routine of movement. I feel like people should be moving some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be intense every single day. And then within that, tip number 2 would be, nutrition. Because ultimately that's 70 to 80% of the game. And if you're not taking the time to put the proper fuel within your body, and help your body to, repair from breaking it down from working out, you're only going to get so far, So in order to maximize those benefits, it's really about finding that nutritional regimen that works for you. Don't do none of the fad diets. I know a lot of people are claiming vegan and stuff like that, but if you really want to know, like in detail, like what your body needs, go get a blood test. And a lot of people come to find out, like they don't have to. Like some people, like, yeah, they do need to be all plant-based. That's just kind of their genetic makeup. For others, they can get away with eating meat. It just kind of depends on where you're from and all that. So, just really gain a little bit more awareness when it comes to nutrition, and realize that that journey is not gonna be perfect. You know, there's gonna be ups and downs. It's hard. I'm still working on it myself. But as long as you're being intentional about it, it's gonna make a world of difference. And then lastly, man, I would most definitely say sleep. Sleep is so vital. And not even, you know, I know a lot of people say, like, you know, they just, where they are in life, they're not able to get that much sleep. And if that's the case, that's fine. But just make sure that you're getting it consistently, you know. So if you're only getting 5 hours of sleep at night, just make sure you're going to bed and waking up at the same time. So then your circadian rhythm can be how it needs to be, you know, and you can actually hit states of, you know, REM sleep and deep sleep, which is the restorative sleep that we need in order to recover, in order to activate. But like ideally, you know, you do want to try to aim for a little bit more than 4 to 5. But I mean, if that's all you can get, you know, make the best out of it. And even throughout the day, you know, naps, that's a big thing that a lot of people sleep on. All you need is 20 to 30 minutes, you know, and, you know, because if you go anything more than a 20 to 30 minutes, you know, you're kind of wake up a little bit more drowsy, unless you allow yourself to sleep for that whole 90, then you'll be able to go through a sleep cycle. So if you could take a nap for 90 minutes throughout the day, that's optimal. But if not, 20, 30 minutes, that'll make a world of difference. Or just simply, you know, doing stuff like meditation. Like, don't go and chug down, you know, coffee and energy drinks because you're tired. Like, go do the things that are actually going to help you to find that, you know, restoration.
I love that, because with sleep, that ain't my friend. Like, but I get what you're saying. I think I would say I wake up about the same time, no matter if alarm clock on, unless I'm just super tired. But my body wakes up around the same time every day, even on the weekends. It's just about being consistent of when I go to bed. Because I try to change the schedule of going to bed a little earlier, but by the time I get home, it's like I got to give myself time to actually chill. And, you know, with being an entrepreneur, your mind thinking you want this, and that, it's like I got to just realize how to shut it down at a certain time. And I've been trying to do that, like, all right, let me watch a little TV, or let me watch the game so I can not think about what's the next thing I need to do, so I can kind of like, but I do listen to meditation music as I go to sleep. So that helps, because it's like, it's soothing. I'm kind of listening to that and I doze off, because it's like, it could be like, I could ride home, right? Be in the car, go to sleep, get home, wide awake. Like, what in the world? So sleep is one thing that I definitely want to work on. I need a quote. I need an Underdawg quote. It could be your quote. It could be a quote you read. It could be a quote, your favorite quote, but I need one.
Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. So you are most equipped to impact and or change the life of the individual that looks just like you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I forget where I heard that from. I heard it from somewhere, but it really stuck with me, because I'm like, dang, yeah. And it's like, you know, when you were saying earlier, you know, we have people that are naturally going to be drawn to us, because that's how God works, you know. So no matter what we're doing or what somebody else tries to do, nobody can take away what God has for us. But yeah, we're definitely the most equipped people to, you know, handle those individuals that were once just like us. 100%.
I love that quote. And that kind of makes me think it different, because I'm thinking of people that look like me as my skin color, but then also people that look like me as in having a disability. I think I don't tap into that community enough. And somebody in our class, Robin in our class, she always mentions that to me. So that kind of makes me think, how can I get involved in that? I don't know why I don't. I just never associated myself, because I never was treated like with the people around me like that. But the world treats me that way. So it's like, if I can have that confidence, I could maybe give somebody else that confidence. So appreciate that. Yeah. Tell people how they can reach you online.
Yeah, so you guys can find us on Instagram first and foremost at Omni Fitness 317. And also you can find my personal Instagram at RyCole_fit. From there, you go and click that link in the bio. It pretty much take you anywhere that you need to go, all the links. Also, you guys can find us on Google. You can find our website by simply just tapping in and typing in Google. You want to see reviews and all that. And also, if you guys want to come check us out physically in person, we're off of 52nd in Tacoma. Definitely go ahead and book your consultation today. First one is on us. We'll take you through a physical, functional assessment, kind of see where you are. From there, we're able to kind of place you in a tier system, and cultivate a game plan that's actually going to be sustainable for long-term growth and shifting a lifestyle there.
I love that. I'm gonna have to check it out because I definitely need something with the health because I'm skinny fat. I like to eat. And my eating is definitely off. And then being always busy and single, I definitely don't cook like I need to. I know how to cook. I cook pretty good, but it's like
it's the want to do it.
No, it's the washing the dishes afterwards. It's the cleaning the kitchen. It's like just keep it I don't want to do all that. Yeah. But man, I appreciate what you do. I want to bring you back on so we can really dive into like the health, wellness, and different stuff. Because like when Ray was on, like the different terminologies and just different stuff that you guys know, because y'all know a lot just by the talking about the sleep and saying even if you don't get enough sleep, just be consistent with the sleep, stuff like that, so people can learn from it. So I definitely want to get you back on to learn more about the health wellness part, not just get to know you, but you actually like teaching us so we can learn more, especially with you being 30, because as African American or about to be 30, we think what 30 is, oh, life is about to change and all that. It do though. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it's not as bad as what it should be if we do the things that you be able to teach us. So definitely want to get you back on. Appreciate what you do. Glad we got on. It's a great conversation. Yes, and I love getting to know people because, we know each other social media or in class, but actually sitting down and having a conversation is super dope. Right. Give us some advice for the underdogs as we get up out of here.
Yeah, man. One of the best things that you can do, in this world is day in, day out, wake up and, show up as a version of your best self. We're always progressing. So we're never going to be that best self. It's an ongoing process. But somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how are you always so happy? And my answer to that's like, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. But like ultimately, I know that I have a community to serve. I know that I have an obligation to show up a certain way. And I have the proper coping mechanisms in order to be able to take care of me. But, I'm designed here to take care of y'all. So, you can really get people to perceive things to be whatever they want to be solely by just being able to show up as a version of your best self.
I love that. I love that. And on that note, peace. Keep being great. Man, I love that, man. Yeah.